The WHCA board has unanimously decided we're no longer featuring a comedic performance this year. At this consequential moment for journalism, I want to ensure the focus is not on the politics of division, but entirely on awarding our colleagues for their outstanding work and providing scholarship and mentorship to the next generation of journalists, end quote. Joe Concha. All right, Joe, why would they pick a super woke comedian to start with?
That's the whole thing. I don't know what they were thinking if you just Google for about 5 seconds that this is not a comedian. This is a Democratic activist under the guise of comedy who can't stop talking about how horrible Donald Trump is. It should be noted, Stuart, that this vote by the White House Correspondents Association was unanimous. And how could it not be? When you say on a podcast, like Amber Ruffin just did, that you believe that the current administration is comprised of quote, murderers, and then you declare that you will not hit both sides of the aisle equally, despite being asked by leadership to do so, you are officially a person begging to be fired. It should also be noted that Amber Ruffin, you see on your screen, is also a writer for the insufferable Seth Meyers, alleged late-night comic on NBC. If you're one of the few that watch, you'll see that there's almost no difference or distinction between Seth Meyers and MSNBC, except that Seth is somehow less funny, thanks to writers like Ruffin. So we know what we would have got here. It would have been one insult after the other aimed at Donald Trump, J.D. Vance, Elon Musk, and it would have fed into this entire perception, Stuart, and it's accurate, that legacy media is hopelessly biased and that journalists are nothing more than Democratic activists at this point. So good for the White House Correspondents Association for doing the right thing here.
I'm sure you've seen this, Joe, but the White House plans to impose their own seating chart for reporters in the briefing room. Yeah. Now, this is usually handled by the reporters through the White House Correspondents Association. What's the intention here? Balancing new and traditional media in that room? Is that what they're trying to do?
Yeah, Stuart, I think this is a great move by White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt and the White House comms team in general. New traditional media, in some cases, whether we're talking about podcasts, whether we're talking about online programming, well, sometimes they have, in many cases, have higher viewership than legacy media outlets, and they reach younger viewers and listeners as well. The way to communicate to the American people no longer runs through CBS, NBC, ABC, CNN, New York Times, Washington Post. There's therefore no reason why the same media outlet should have the same priority seating and are always the ones called on while others are ignored. The playing field has been leveled, and this change reflects that, Stuart. So good for Caroline Leavitt and good for the White House in general for recognizing that there's more to media out there than just the stations that we grew up with an antenna on our TV type of thing.
Yeah, those were the days. I remember those days, and you don't. All right. Joe Concha, thank you very much indeed. See you later.